Okay, hi. Today I'm going to take a quick look at this Producerloops.com sample pack that they sent over for review. Trance Elevation Volume 1, which costs 35 quid. And you get a gig and a half of Apple loops and acidized wave loops. So you choose which you want to use depending on your software application. And some release blurb on the product. Basically, this collection was produced for Producerloops.com by Jonathan Blake of Static Blue. Static Blue remixes for Armin van Buuren, Sonny Lax, Camille Polner and Adam Sabo, amongst others, have earned him much respect from all the major players on the trance scene. And basically, with this pack, Trance Elevation Volume 1, inside the pack there is 5 different parts. Okay, and if I just drag over this file folder here. Okay, basically I downloaded the zip files. Okay, and there are 5 of them. Trance Elevation Volume 1 Part 1, Volume 1 Part 2, Volume 1 Part 3, Volume 1 Part 4 and Volume 1 Part 5. Okay, and once you've extracted those, whether you want the WAVs or the Apple loops, I extracted the Apple loops, and you get these folders. Where's the first one in here? So Trance Elevation Volume 1 Part 1, I've extracted the Apple loops folders only. And inside it there are 2 distinctly different songs, okay, in their own folders, as well as your license agreement. And inside each of those song folders are all the loops that go to make up that song, and you get an example song, a short mix of it to give you an idea of what the whole content sounds like put together. And you also include with each song, because there are 2 songs, right, in each folder, you get a bunch of MIDI loops as well, and they're usually bass loops and things like that, and sort of synth pattern loops and things. And you also get a bunch of unlooped riffs, as it says here, including tails, and they're things like crashes and stabs that don't loop, but they're allowed to just sustain and decay. Yeah. So there's some, synth power hit, reverse crash, etc. Pad filter down and up, and various effects and things. So they're just sort of little non-looping samples that can be placed on the composition where you like, and they will just sustain, like, crashes and things, and interconnecting little effects and stuff. Yeah. So as I say, 2 tracks in each of the 5 parts. Okay, here's the second track, for example. Again, all the parts to make up that song, plus a mix of it, plus the MIDI loops, plus the unlooped riffs, including tails. Again, mostly crashes and little effect filters, effects and things like that. So that was part 1. That's part 2. Again, 2 distinctly different songs, again each one containing the same thing. The loops making up the track, plus the MIDI loops, plus unlooped riffs with their tails. Okay, and part 3 is there. Again, 2 more songs. Part 4, where is it? Again, 2 distinctly different songs again. And part 5, again, 2 distinctly different songs. Now I've imported parts 1, 2 and 3 already into Logic, and just to show the beginners who don't know, this is how I do it. First of all, I open my media column and get my loops column selected, sub-column, yeah, and I set it to show all, yeah, and then I make sure that none of these categories are highlighted. Okay, so that, let's move that across, hang on, so that this area below is blank, and then all I do is grab, just one thing I want to show you. I've already installed parts 1, 2 and 3. As you can see, they appear here. Look, Trance Elevation Volume 1 Part 1, Volume 1 Part 2, and move, and volume 1 part 3. So to import another one, which will be part 4, the next one I'm going to import, I just go over here and I find the folder, and I just drag it across to this blank empty area down here and let go. And you are asked by Logic whether you want to copy all those loops to the Logic Loops folder, which is on your default Macintosh hard drive, or leave it in the current location, which is what I'm going to do. The current location is another hard drive inside the Mac. So I choose current location, and so all the loops are left where they are, but they'll be imported into the loop browser. Here we go. There's a little pause and it's done. Now nothing happens apart from this becomes automatically highlighted. The little white line appears around it after a few seconds. But if you drop this down now, you can see part 4 has been installed. So to go into one of the collections, you just choose part 1, 2 or 3, 4 or 5, select any of them, and this changes to show only 2 categories, all and electronic, and both those categories contain the same thing, which is all the loops, including the demo songs, for the 2 tracks included in that Apple Loops part. Okay, remember there are 5 parts in total for the Trance Elevation Volume 1. Okay, so that's the product itself. Let's have a look and listen to some of the content.